Hi, this is Jaya. In this video, we shall see about Nayakar Archi. After the rule of Pandyas and Sodas came the Nayakar Archi. These Nayakars Archi was that these Nayakas were the representatives of Vijayanagar Emperor. And because of sultans, Saivam and Vainavam was actually going in a failure. And in order to bring it back to its highlights, Hariharan and Pukar, they created this Vijayanagar Archi. And this rule was from Tungabhadra river in south to downside. And this is also another reason why Muslims were not much in this area. It is because of that Vijayanagar rule here. And under this Vijayanagar emperor only, these Nayakas were ruling Senji, Tanjai and Madurai. That is 3 parts it had been taken. And each part was ruled by these Nayakas. And in every places they were the representatives of the Vijayanagar emperor. Kumara Kambana Udayar. Kumara Kambana Udayar is a son of Pukar. And in Tamil Nadu, the mid of it, that place was ruled by sultans, but he won over them, and afterwards he even captured Tanjai, Senji and Velur, and he ruled those places as a representative of Vijayanagar emperor, and he renovated all the temples, and also he made ways so that prayers could be done in a very good way. And all this information we get from the book written by Kumara Kambana Udayar's wife Ganga Devi's book Madra Vijayamma. And then we can even see about Vijayanagar empire and the Nayakas who ruled Tamil Nadu. Kumara Kambana Udayar, he was ruling under the Vijayanagar emperor in Madurai, Senji and Tanjai, and they had separated all these 3 places separately, and separately Nayakas were nominated there. But the Nayakas who ruled in that place, they did not want to be under the Vijayanagar emperor, so they refused to pay money, that is the kappam. And therefore Krishnadeva got angry and he attacked them. And then in Senji, Vayyappa Nayakar and in Tanjai, Vijayaraghava Nayakar and in Madurai, Venkappa Nayakar were nominated as representatives of Krishnappa Devara. And Krishnadeva, after him, his brother Achudarayan became the king of Vijayanagar emperor. And after him, the Nayakas wanted to be autonomous. And Viswanatha Nayakar, who ruled Madurai, he brought in a lot of administrative changes and also showed that these Nayakas were very strong. And he was also made the king of Madurai by Nayakarna. And if we take these 3 places separately, first we will see about the Senji Nayakargal. This is from the place which is in between Palaru and Kollidam. This is the place where Senji Nayakas ruled. And Vayyappa Nayakar, after him we have in Senji Bagu Krishnappa Nayakar, and he came from the Senji Nayakars ancestry. And after him Surappa Nayakar and Krishnappa Nayakar ruled that place, and they, in a war which took place in Talaikotai, they defeated the Vijayanagar king Sadasiva Suryan, and they helped Sadasiva Suryan, that is Surappa Nayakan, helped him. And these information we get from the Kalvettigal which are in Vada Arkadu. And after Krishnappa Nayakar, we have Krishnappa Kondappa Nayakan who ruled that place. And it was in Surappa Nayakan's palace, poet Srinivasa Dishidhar, who wrote Bhavana Prutottamam play, lived. And then we find at that time Senji was very prosperous, and he also saw to it that the Kutta Perumal temple in Thillai was renovated. And it was in 1649 that the Muslims, Takkanathu Muslims, attacked Senji and got their victory over it. Then we shall see about Tanjai Nayakarkal. Thinnappa Nayakar was appointed by Krishnadeva as a representative in Tanjai, and after him his son Sevappa Nayakar ruled that place. And then Achudharayar Sevappa Nayakar, that is this Tanjavur was given as a gift, and for Achudharayar and Sevappa Nayakar were very close friends, and after him Achutappa Nayakar started ruling Tanjavur. And Achyutappa Nayakar helped Veerappa Nayakar to fight against Vijayanagara emperor in Madurai, and after him his son Raghunatha Nayakar in 1567 became the king, and there was a lot of civil war at that time, but he won over Yachama Nayakar, and after him his son Vijaya Raghava Nayakar came to rule, and the Emperor Sri Rangan, after him Mysore Udayas, they attacked Madurai and he helped them, and in final we find that Madurai Nayakar Sokkanathan attacked Tanjavur, and in that war Vijayaraghavan Nayakan was killed, and in Tanjavur Sokkanatha Alagiri Nayakar came as the king, and after that Madurai and Tanjavur were merged together. Later on, the old Padayanakar, in that way we have Sengamala Dasu, and Bijapur Sultan helped him, and Ekosi's head in 1674 he won over Alagiri Nayakan, won over Sengalpa Dasu, so that was given to him, and after some time we find that Ekosi wanted to rule Tanjai, and therefore Tanjai came under the Sultan ruler, and after 1677 we find that Tanjai Marathas rule Tanjai came under the Marathas ruler. And about all these Tanjai Nayakas we come to know about the Kalvettugal in Solamandalam and the Sasanams which were written in Tiruvallarai and Thiruvetkalam, which is also known as Annamalai Nagar. Then we shall see about Madurai Nayakargal. Nayakar's rule itself was so very great only in Madurai, that we can say, and here only we have Pukar's son Kumara Kambana Udayar, who became the ruler first in Madurai from the Nayakar ancestry. And here for many years Pandyas had a fight about who is going to be the next king, and utilizing they fight, the sultans tried to capture Madurai, but Kumara Kambana Udayar defeated them and made the Pandyan to sit on to become the king. But because Pandyan was not very efficient, he himself started ruling Madurai as a representative of Vijayanagara empire. Here we have Viswanatha Nayakar. That is during Krishnappa Devar's time in Madurai, Chandrasekhara Pandyan and Veera Soran, there was a fight between them, and therefore Krishna Devarayar sent his Talapati Nagama Nayakan's son Viswanatha Nayakan with a big army, and in Madurai there was a war, and in that war he defeated the Pandyas and Soras, and Viswanatha Nayakan had his Talavai as Aryanadar, and Tiruchi was united with Madurai during his time, and he also renovated the Sri Rangam Alayam in Tiruchi, and he gave 3 lakh gold for this renovation work. This information we get from the documents in the temple. And in Tenkasi we find Sivalappa Pandiyan and Venatiyan Tiruvadi Puli Pudala Veeran, they were ruling. In the Tiruvadi Puli Pudala Veeran attacked Pandya Nadu, and Sivalappa Pandiyan Achudarayan army along he attacked Tiruvadi Puli Pudala Veeran and he won over him, and this information we get from the Kalvettu and Susindram. And then Viswanatha Nayakan, in his time he divided his land into 72 Palayangal, and the income which he got from these Palayams he divided into 3, and one part was sent to the king, one part was for the administration work, and one part was for his expenses. And these Palayakarargal were either Telugu people or Kannada people or Pandyas, and the main condition was that during war time they have to come and help the king. Then we have Krishnappa Nayakan. After Viswanatha Nayakan, his son Krishnappa Nayakan became the king, and during his time we find that there was a war between Bamini Sultaniyar and to Vijayanagar in Talakotai, and in this war Ramarayan was killed, and in that war on his behalf Aryanadar only came with the army, and Thirumalai Rayan in Berukonda he was fighting to recover his kingdom, and Krishnappa Nayakar helped him, and therefore even today in Palayam Kottai we have a place called Krishnappapuram, and he renovated Thiruvenkatanatha temple and Madurai Meenakshi temple, and then we have Aryanadar. In Nayaka's rule, we have to say that Ariyana's service was very great. Viswanatha Nayakar started Kumara Krishnappa Nayakar from to that. We find he has helped them a lot. And Kumara Krishnappa Nayakar's time, he died. And in his memory, in Madurai Ayiramkal Mandapam, we find a statue which shows Ariyanath seated on an elephant. And Muthu Krishnappa Nayakar, Kumara Krishnappa Nayakar, after him we find his brother Viswanappa Nayakar's son Muthu Krishnappa Nayakar ruling. And during his time we find there were a lot of thieves in Rameshwaram, and therefore he brought Sadayappa Devar as king there. And not only that, he donated 13 villages to the temples. And Sadayappa Devar was called as Sadayappa Devar Sedupati. And during his time only, from Italy came Robert D. Nepali to Madurai, and he learned Tamil, Telugu and Sanskrit. And then we have Thirumalai Nayakar. Thirumalai Nayakar's rule is said to be like the son of Nayakar's history. He is the son of Muthu Veerappan, and he made Madurai as the capital. And Thirumalai Nayakar wanted to be an autonomous king. He did not want to be under any great emperor, and therefore, like his father, he refused to pay any thirai, that is money, to the emperor. And therefore he became an enemy to Vijayanagar Empire. And since Madurai is opposite to Mysore, Samaraya Udayar, Arigara Nandi Rasa's head, he had a war. And Thirumalai Nayakan's side, we have Ramapayyan's head, and they fought in Dindukal the first Mysore war, which was called as Mookarappu Por. And Unni Keralavarman, because he did not give the thirai, he also fought with him in Venattu Padayedappu. And also, for knowing who is the king, there was a fight in Rameshwaram between Sedupati and others. And Srirangan's help, Venkata's head, Vijayanagar emperor also fought with him. Therefore, during his reign, there was a lot of wars. And in that war where he had a fight with Vijayanagar Empire and Golconda, along with the help of sultans, and that is Bisapur Sultan. He asked the help of Bisapur Sultan, and even the Portuguese he asked for help. And in Madurai, he made Madurai as a festival city. Thiruvilayadal, Thiruvirakal, Teppa Thiruvila, all this was started being celebrated. And he renovated Teppakollam, Pudumandapam, Avani Mulai, Rayar Gopuram, all this. And Nayakar Mahal is a great example of his expertise in architecture. And he also maintained all the Erigal and Kanma in a very good condition. And then we have Sokanatha Nayakan. That is, after Thirumalai, Sokanatha Nayakan gave a very good rule. During his rule, we find that Bisapur's Senchi Alunar Sakosi and Tanjai Nayakar, all these people attacked Madurai, and in that Sokanathan only won over them. And Bisapur Sultan captured Tiruchi and started destroying the place. Along with his brother Adagiri Nayakan, he became the king of Tanjavur, and Adagiri started ruling autonomously, and he made Tiruchi as the capital. Now Tanjai, Tenji and Velur, all this was captured by Bisapur army, and Shivaji came to Kollidam river, and he gave 1.5 lakh rupees so in order to avoid the war. And Rusuddin Khan, he tried to capture Tiruchi, then Mysore, and then Madurai. He attacked all these places, and Sokanathan, along with the help of all the Palayakarargal, he killed Rusuddin Khan in the war, and he became victorious. And after Sokanathan, we have Aranga Krishnappa Muthu Veerappan, Senchi Sambaji, Mysore Sikkaraya Udayar, Tanjai Ekkoji, Ramanathapuram Kedavan Sedupati. All these people, they wanted to rule Madurai, so they fought a war. And Sambaji destroyed Madurai, like he was plundering Madurai. And finally, Mysore and Sambaji, there was a war. And Sokanatha Nayakar in 1689, till that he ruled, and in his time only we find that John D. Brito came to Madurai and did religious work. Then we can see about Rani Mangamal. Aranga Krishna Muthu Veerappan's son is Visayaraga Sokanathan. When he became the king, Rani Mangamal was the almoner at that place, and Mughaliyar army, they gave money and also Thirai, and they were avoiding war. Venatadigal, that is Thiruvangur Manners are called as Venatadigal. They started interfering in the Narasabai, and there also they won over them in the war, and they made them to pay Thirai to them. And Tanjai Mannar also in Narasabai they had a war, and from them also they got Thirai. And Christians were not allowed in many places because the kings did not allow them, but Rani Mangamal allowed them to do their religious service in that places, and roads, Chaturangal, Anna Savadigal, Vaikalgal all were renovated and maintained properly during that rule. And after that their parent Visayaranga Sokanathan Nayakan became the king. He was concentrating more on Bhakti Neri, that is, he was more towards religious thing than ruling his kingdom. And all over the country there was a lot of Pusalgal, means struggles, and people were not very happy. And Kedavan Sedubadiyum and Venatadigal also, they died. And in every place there was a fight for who will become the next king. And after in Madurai, his wife Meenakshi took the rule, and she asked for the help of Santa Sahib, and they captured him and put him in the jail, and Tiruchi, Dindukul, Madurai, all that was captured by him. Therefore, in Madurai, Nayakar's rule came to an end. And when we see how these Nayakar's Achi Murai was, we find that the king is there, and after the king, instead of Amachar and Talabadi, they made that as one as Talavai, and Yesu Sabainar looked at them like Governor General, that is equal to Governor General. And during Viswanatha Nayakar's time, Aryanadar was the first Talavai, and Tirumalai Nayakar's time we have Rasappa Nayakan, and during Rani Mangaval's time we have Narasappa Ayyappan as Talavais. And after Talavai we have Pradhani, that is Varuvai Adhikari Pradhani, and he is equal to the finance minister. And Aryanadar was the Mudal Pradhani, that is the first Pradhani, and after him this stage changed. And after Pradhani we have Rasayam, who is a very higher official. And other than these people we have Kanakan Tanike Adhikari, Dhanadipati, who is a representative of the government. And the Perarasa Maninangal, that is a great empires, we divided, and we have Alunargal to rule them. And Tiruchi, Tirunelveli, in all this we find Alunargal ruling them. And even the state was divided into 72 Palayangal, and Magana and Sime were the names given to the villages. And the villages also had names like Mangalam, Samutram, Kudi, Ur, Puram, Kulam, Kurchi, Patti, and all that. And Karnalam, Maniyakaran, Talayari are the names of the village heads. And under the Vijayanagar Empire, these Nayakargal and the Palayakarargal, they saw to it that the legal methods were all correct. And all this we come to know from the Sasanam, which is written in Srivilliputtur. And the schools were conducted in Thillai Palligal, and the subjects were taught through Sanskritam, Tamil, Telugu, Kannadam, all these languages. And Indo-Saraniyar மற்றும் நிர்வாண கலைகள் all were used to build palaces, kotegal and all that. Kotegal means forts. And Nellai Kuttappar temple was renovated. And during Adivira Ramapandian, when he was in Tenkasi, he built a temple. And the literature during Nayaka time was just like Vijayaraga Veer Isai Nadai, Harichandra Puranam was written, and Adivira Pandian's Night Dadam, Langa Puranam, Maga Puranam, Kurma Puranam, Paditru Pattu, Andadi, all that was written during their time. And Varandagama Rama Pandian's time we have Kokosam, this book was written. And Saiva Sintanta Nulgal and Sivanyana Sithiyar and Sivanyana Bodham Uray all was written at that time only. And Jnana Prakasar, Thiruvettur Purana, he wrote Thiruvettur Puranam. And Namachivaya Pulavar wrote Sidambara Venba, and Annamalai Venba also. And Yellappa Navalar, he wrote Arunachala Puranam and Arunai Kalambagam. And Kumara Gurubara Swamigal wrote Kandar Kali Venba, Kailai Kalamba, and Meenakshi Ammai Pillai Tamil. And Kasi Madandai also. He was the one who created Kasi Madandai. And Ratana Kaviraya wrote Machapuranam and Pulavar Atrupadayam. and Muthu Tandavar, Amrita Kavirayar, Chakrai Pullavar, all those people lived during this Nayakar time. And we have Amrita Kavirayar, Ramanathapuram Sethupathi, they supported all these people. If you have anything more to add on to what I've said, please write it in the comment box, like the video, share it with your friends, and if you have not subscribed my channel, please subscribe and support. Thank you.